Did you see that interview with Trump saying that he doesn't really know about due process or the Constitution, and it just still seemed kind of like news to him? And he was like, "I have lawyers for that." Yeah.
I gotta tell you, she's a very interesting figure. Thank you so much. Many people on Facebook made mention of this lady here. Her name is Shannon James Bishop. Thank you for the post. I had to look into what Shannon believes, where she stands. This I know, she is a Roman Catholic. So let me pull up her channel and do this on the fly. Here is what I'm learning about this woman. And what I'm trying to do today is not so much to do a reaction video, so much to her claims, but as a Catholic mom, okay, she has this ministry where she talks about cooking and stuff like that, but she addressed politics and look at the signs of the times. So she is considered a liberal Catholic. She said that she escaped the far right Catholic cult like OPS Day pose on democracy. I am a lifelong Catholic, now a liberal Catholic. So this is what it says on her YouTube channel. I'm going to play some videos where she says about how she escaped this idea of the far right Catholic. So she is a Catholic who is protesting against the fascism in Catholicism that have been hijacked by the Republican Party. And she is anti the theocracy, is anti church and state union. She's a very interesting figure. When you listen to her, you're like, wow, this is like an 11-hour worker kind of, I want to hear your thoughts. And what I'm trying to do in today's video, I'm going to do something I don't often do. I'm going to get a vote from you guys, whether or not you guys would like me to bring her to the channel. But I want you to at least listen to some of her substance so you can make a decision. I'm going to link this video below and you can tell me what you think. It's a 2 hours and 40 minutes video. I will tell you, there's a lot of stuff here that I actually agree with. I could not believe I was going to be able to agree with a Catholic woman as much as I've agreed with her. It was shocking to me. I was shocked. Anyway, I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. But again, the question on the table here, would you like me to invite Shannon to Advent Media Connect as a Roman Catholic liberal? So there are some views that we do not agree with, we cannot support. But would you still like to invite her to share her perspective on Advent Media Connect? I'm open to discuss with people who may not agree with me 100% on things. I believe in building bridges, not walls. Please don't call me for Francis, but there's some truth to that. But I believe we can make some things happen. That's my question. But however, before I make that decision, I want to invite you, the audience, to that decision. Is this something you guys would like to see? Let me know. So here in this part of the video, she's going to express her testimony and address how she came to the point of where she is and why she's speaking out on things. Listen.
So my name is Shannon Vavich. I'm a Marine Corps spouse of 30 years. My husband is now retired. I'm a lifelong Catholic. I have 7 kids. I'm a classically trained musician. And I used to be, I still am, a cooking teacher and recipe developer. I was briefly pulled into a fascist far-right Catholic cult 25 years ago. And there I learned what their plans were. And it hit me like a kick in the gut. Somebody was complaining about the, evils of the world. And somebody said, well, all of this will be over when we finally get a Catholic king. And I thought, that's ridiculous. How in the world could that ever be possible? And, it took me 15 years to deconstruct from that cult influence, which I was never actually pulled in. I was a failed recruit. Okay. But still, it changed my life in many ways. And it was extremely painful. And so when I saw that Project 2025 had revised in 2021 to include the to include making contraception and birth control unlawful, I thought, oh my gosh, there it is. That's the Catholic stamp. And then, of course, I learned that Kevin Roberts is an Opus Dei Catholic. He's the new president of the Heritage Foundation. And I'm not discounting that the Protestants are way, or the evangelicals are way on in this too. Not at all. But what I can talk about are the finer points of the Catholic involvement. And look, with 6 of 9 Supreme Court justices, 5 of which are fascist far-right Catholics, one of which is raised Catholic, still fascist to the core, and with Leonard Leo, who is an Opus Dei Catholic, stacking the Supreme Court, having so much influence on state courts and attorneys general, solicitors general on the state level. If you want the Catholics, they really did pull an 11th hour gotcha. Okay, when there's JD Vance too. But I'm also going to introduce you to a lot of other people tonight or today, wherever you are. And the question to ask yourself, are these people in Opus Dei? And the thing is about Opus Dei, which we'll talk about the book Opus in just a minute, but you're never really going to know. And that's really where they have such an advantage, right? But I always say if it walks like Opus Dei and it quacks like Opus Dei, it is Opus Dei. Okay. And I was pulled in 25 years ago. My husband right here, who is a retired Marine Corps colonel, back then he was an up and coming. He was a captain at the time, and his specialty is intel. So we would have been extremely valuable acquisitions. And I was so susceptible to being pulled into a cult. I had gone through a lot of trauma, which you can watch about in this long form video, which it's very messy and it's very vulnerable, but nobody goes into a cult because everyone gets pulled into a cult because they're needy and they're unwell in a way. And that's what happened to me. And it's not a very dignified process. And that's why a lot of people don't talk about it once they're out. So let's see. We're going to talk also a lot about these people who are introducing these ideas. They want them infused in our culture. They want them to be put into law, that we all need to follow some kind of natural order. Natural order being you need to be married, you need to have a lot of kids, and you need to be Catholic, or at least, you need to look up to the Catholics and revere them. That's what they want. They still want to be up here. They don't like that they are insignificant in the larger, national conversation now. Well, they weren't. And so I am a lifelong Catholic. I'm a liberal Catholic now. I have 7 kids, and this is my entryway right now. I took this photo today. My little dog Nutmeg. And I post this, I put this here because we're going to learn a lot, and we're going to hear the word a lot tonight of flourishing. They want people in the United States to flourish under their theocracy. And, I'm going to just have to start saying this in every presentation I give, but no one stopped me from being a Catholic all my life. No one stopped me from getting married and being married for 30 years to a man. Nobody stopped me from not getting a divorce. Okay. Nobody stopped me from having all these kids. And, another thing that I want you to pay attention to as we talk about all of these people who I'm going to introduce you to is not one of them is a woman. Okay. And so these are going to be people who were saying that American women aren't flourishing right now. And Americans aren't flourishing. Well, I'm just saying that nobody stopped me from living my faith. And so this is my husband the day he was promoted to colonel. This was on the island of Okinawa, Japan. This is my entryway right now. This is the messiness and gloriousness of family life. I have always wanted a large family. It was my greatest, the greatest desire of my heart was to have all my children. But that's just me. And it's also extremely difficult. And so it should not be imposed on anybody. This is me with my son this was him. This is him now. I just took that last night. He's a tall boy. So, we have a very close family. This is my husband and I, my husband now, since he retired, he gets to have a beard now. And this was just taken a few days ago at this son's band concert. And if I ever disappear from social media, please find me on theflyingkitchen.com. It's my food website. And I will communicate through there because we just don't know what's going to happen at this point. Okay. Also, I live in Germany now, and that enables me to speak freely. Okay. Recommended, really quick before we get on with our program. Recommended Opus by Gareth Gore. I did not know this book existed when I started speaking out in January. I just felt I had a moral obligation to say, hey, this is what I heard. I heard that they wanted a Catholic king. So I put that video up on Instagram. It's got over 100,000 views now, maybe 200,000 views. And people, of course, a lot of people were like, that's crazy. You're a crazy libtard. But a lot of people came to the video and said, yeah, she's right. I have heard this too. And I've been in those circles. And so what we've been able to do over just the last really 10, 11 weeks is create a community of Catholics who don't want this, okay? And a bunch of other people who are just interested in the process. This is some of my long-form content I've put together in just the last 10 weeks. I think it's over 20 hours of material, and this doesn't even count all the stuff on my, shorts and short videos. But Beginner's Guide to Leonard Leo, this was a Zoom class. By the way, I set up this Zoom meeting club after I discovered this book. Somebody who watched that video where I was talking about that they wanted a Catholic king and talking about the fascist far-right cults within the Catholic Church, somebody said, you really need to read Opus. And so without this book, I wouldn't have any real data to stand on except my own experience. And so this book is really very important. Please read it. So I set up this Zoom club to study this book. And now, of course, my body of work is so much larger. And so I recommend, any of this content that looks interesting to you. And of course, now so much is happening and so many people are coming into the chat, so to speak, and I'm digging deeper and deeper into the philosophies that are driving these people, the philosophies, the theology, the ideology, the thinkers like Thomas Aquinas that are driving this push towards theocracy and Catholic integralism, which is Catholic-led government, okay? And so, not to discount that the evangelicals have had a huge hand in this, but what I learned when I was in the cult was that the evangelicals were going to be used to do the heavy lifting, okay? And then the Catholics were going to come in at the last minute with their Catholic stamp. And I will tell you, this is a little scary because none of these people are going to back down. They're going to push it all the way, okay? And so
So you guys, I just wanted to make sure you guys take a listen to, this is Shannon. This is what she does. Keep in mind, she's a liberal. She does support things that I don't support or don't agree with. So just keep that in mind. That side is that political leaning that's also intertwined with some of her views. But she's separation of church and state. I don't care, though I'm a Catholic woman, don't even bring your Catholicism into the government. She's totally against that, against the theocracy. She speaks against the Christians, Christian nationalism. The Opus Dei book that we're talking about here, we had a lady named Linda Murphy on the channel who is saying the same thing. She was the representative of Oklahoma. This has been added to my Amazon list, by the way. Anyway, so my question now is, since you've heard part of that, her message, would you guys like for me to bring Shannon to the channel for an interview? If you say yes, bring Shannon, just give me a 1. If you say no, just give me a 0, a O or a 0. So I'm going to go to the chat and read. So yes, bring Shannon to the channel and have an open conversation about how she sees the signs of the times, even with a Catholic lens. Give me a 1. If you say no, leave her alone. There's no need to connect with a Catholic lady. who has liberal views, just give me a 0. And that's fine. And I'll count that. I'll take that as a vote. And I'm also kind of try to put, I'm going to put a question in the vote and a poll in a sense. I'm going to do a poll in the chat and to see what kind of answers I get from you guys. So this is where you guys get to decide. I already have her information, so I know how to get in touch with her. She's an easy person to reach. So once I hear your vote, we'll schedule something. Anyway, that's all this video was about. I don't want to say too much. I thought she was very interesting. Listen to the way she speaks as a Catholic woman is like, really? That's a thing? Anyway, comment below. Share your thought and perspective with me. I want to hear from you. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.